This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon. It is Thursday, May 4th at 5:31 p.m. and we are starting the finance meeting. Here with me in the Village Hall, we have Julia Rourke, Sally Bennett, myself, and Jason Ackerman. Absent is Drew Pearson. There's no one signed up for public comment. Are there any conflicts of interest? Hearing none, moving to number 4 is approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from April 12th?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I will second. All in favor, Julie?
Yes.
Jeremy says yes as well, and that is approved. Moving on to discussion, letter A is the budget 2023. Anything in particular you wanted to point out?
I did, it may look a little bit different because I did, journal entry the, sinking funds for the year. So like all the ones that are in the budget, I paid them. And then we did purchase the JD wheel loader. So that was moved around between streets and finance, and all that's been done in the budget. Trying to think what else. And I told you, I don't know what happened to the form. I had many people looking for it. It just vanished off my computer. It was, the only proof that I had that it existed was that it was in a PDF.
What form are you talking about?
This balances form.
Oh.
So not sure what happened there, but.
Those are fancy graphs that we.
Right.
So, there is a line item transfer, and that needs an explanation. Last month, when we discussed that Rachel and I were working on the outstanding checks, some of those go way back, but there was one for $2,500 that we had to void and reissue. And in doing so, it had to go through our current budget. So it was in Fund 51, and it took the line item to, I think it was over 125%. So I just moved money from contingency. And I actually didn't ask Chad about it. I've been meaning to, but I think he's fine with that. I just needed to get it done for the report. But it's just one of those unfortunate things because I couldn't void it and issue it prior to the fiscal year because that's all done. So.
You know what's weird about that though? That 2,500 is in the old year already, right? So it's gonna be in the old year and the new year?
Well, it's been voided as of this year and then reissued. So it's
gonna be kind of.
It'll be fine in the accounting. It's just a matter of the budget because our fund accounting, we're just looking at expenses and revenues and not the offset. So unfortunately, it popped up in expenses and I can't do anything to offset it that way.
So we have that little bit budgeted in professional fees?
They really, I don't think that line item has a lot of exposure typically.
What is 51?
I'm looking
Is
at
that,
last month's.
Is that O&M or?
Correct.
Yes. That might be all I have. I did want to note, and I sent everybody an email too, but the video gaming. I like that. I don't know if it will consistently be double, but that was pretty cool.
Probably the new Bagel Lounge getting fired up and then these guys, right?
Right. And they were partial months for those two businesses, so.
Yeah.
I think that is awesome and can't wait to see how that
That's
comes
great.
through.
But even with that double, we're only running budget. It looks like we're running right on target with our budgeted number right now, right?
Mhm. Well, there was an assumption of, okay, so there's two things, because I was looking at that too. The budget line item includes fees and, I forgot what they're called, the fees that they pay per machine.
Yeah,
I'm not recording those in this view, but that is part of that budget line item, so it's kind of, I just, originally video gaming wasn't on here, and I just thought it was kind of fun to follow along and see how much we were making, but that is kind of it's a look at it without realizing all the costs that are going in there.
well, these licenses are just getting renewed now, right? So isn't it like 125 or 250 per machine or something like that?
It's $250 per machine.
So we're gonna get that times however many machines are in town. Is that gonna be in April or is that in May then?
It's in April.
Okay, is that why we're at 9098 then for video gaming for April?
No, that's just
You're
our
saying that's
tax.
without that,
Yeah,
okay.
just because
Mhm.
none of those are in here.
Got it.
All right.
And I didn't wanna, cause it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I mean, we might make it without the fees,
Mhm.
but that's why it looks like that.
Okay.
It's not on the agenda, but it is, I guess, a budget thing. The audit has been scheduled
Okay.
for the week of May 15th.
Wow.
And of course, when I was sick, email. But it's nice because I have someone helping me now. We've started uploading documents to their portal, so we've already begun the pre-audit process.
That's good.
It's very exciting. Yes.
It's like, it feels like you just got done with that. Oh, wait, you did.
We did. You are correct. And Mark was here today and we've had some time. He has been working on like the pensions and things like that. And we're ahead of schedule on our end with that stuff. So it's looking good.
Anything else under the budget?
I don't know anything.
All right, let's move on to letter B. The eye drop and the water bill delinquency.
That company that had that big amount paid off.
Oh,
Mhm.
yay.
So Kelly was pretty excited about that.
But that'd be a write-off for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did have a quick question down at the bottom. It says aging, it says current due by March 15th. Was that supposed to be May 15th?
I don't know.
Because that would make
I'm
more
thinking-
sense.
I'm thinking it must be. She must have inverted it.
I didn't even see that.
Down at the very bottom. It's
It's the gray square.
Oh.
May 15th makes sense that that much is owed to us because they haven't paid yet.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that wasn't since March, and I was like, oh. Everything else looked good on that. Very excited that,
Yeah, there's nothing there anyway. It's nice.
Yes.
all right. Letter C, bank reconciliation, we are going to remove. And then will that be ready to go for the board meeting or not yet?
We wouldn't be able to do it until, you guys usually review those before
Correct,
we
okay, perfect.
send them that way.
So that'll be done in, what month are we in next? June, done in June. Credit card review.
I just wanted to point out that should be March.
Yes.
I almost said May.
Probably be a little more helpful to you, Jason, if you had some of these materials.
It's all right. I didn't. I just got done working, so I came right here.
We're looking at the credit card statement.
Sure.
You can come over here. Oh, there you
if you're not afraid of my germs.
Yeah, no.
Where did we end up on the new credit card thing? We were gonna go through where it's just under the village's name. Are we still up in the air
I'm
on that?
not sure of the status.
Okay, I just made me think of it with the credit cards, so no big deal, I didn't expect an update.
Kelly was gone for a family funeral today, so I didn't get to do any of the last minute ask.
Who passed away?
Someone in her husband's family, her husband's aunt, I think.
Is the Village a Prime member? Amazon Prime?
No.
I don't think so.
2-day shipping on Post-it notes.
That might be something in general too, to look up, because if we're not a member of Prime, we do all this
I
on
know.
Amazon, we pay for the shipping every time.
I don't know, I've always
No.
been a member, I don't know if you do or not, yeah.
I never pay for shipping and I'm not a Prime member, and it says you're gonna get it in 2 weeks and I get it in 2 days.
Really?
I never, they always say, you're okay, it's gonna be 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, I'm not in a hurry. I don't
Yeah,
care.
I've always
And I get
had
in 3 days.
Now that I think about it, I would pay for that. We're not members, but.
I don't think I'll cancel mine.
Right.
I don't pay for shipping on any, of course, all they do is jack up the price when they say no shipping, I know that, but.
All right, moving on to letter E, software upgrades.
I didn't get that done. I started doing a timeline for Frank. I talked to Frank about composing a letter, but it didn't get accomplished. And I talked to the contact person and asked them for an elevated name of who we would send this complaint to.
Mhm.
So I got quite a ways in the process, but I never finished composing the draft for Frank.
When do you think we would have that done?
I can work on that tomorrow.
That's a very quick turnaround. Okay, so we'd have this sent out in the next week or so?
I think so.
So in the meantime, we're just still kind of in no man's land here, right?
Yeah, where we've been, so I guess we're not any worse off. Same with not really the same question, but I guess the, transition to the postcard.
Yeah,
I know you've sent a few emails on that, trying to get a hold of them, and didn't you say they bought a new company in their?
yeah, they're flailing. But yeah, there have been no updates on anything. We've been in limbo for
And
2 years now.
with that one, legally, we have to switch, right? So is that something that, and this is more of it, not asking you to provide an answer, but is that something that we need to push through Mary sooner than later, saying, hey, we are trying to comply, but this company is refusing to do so?
Yeah,
Because at one point that could come back on us.
right.
Right.
Probably. Told Frank I thought we should start with him, and then I think the next step after that would be Mary.
Because they're two separate issues, we're just fighting the people in general here. Okay.
So we have the transition to the paper bill, or the non-postcard bill, what the other issues, the fees and the.
Yes, the website's not 100% up and running yet, that we've been paying for, and that includes the fees.
Yeah, we gotta start
And
paying.
also the online,
The viewing,
Bill
the
if
bill,
you-
yes.
because that's everything. That's why we did this, was for that.
And we're still, technically, we kind of went live by accident, but we haven't pushed it out yet, because we're waiting for it to be fully done before we say, hey, here's a half-finished product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we gotta get Frank on this.
On both of those issues.
Do we pay them a monthly maintenance fee or is it an annual?
It's an annual.
Okay, which we've probably already paid for the year.
Well, so for all these years, we've always paid the maintenance fees in August. And then they were starting to charge them at different times, and I talked to their accounting people, and we did like a 6-month to get us to the point where they would all be at the same time again. They did like a bridge. And I know that was permitting, but I'm not 100% sure if it was both. But yeah, the permit's an equally big problem, especially coming into the season. And it's still a problem because people are paying online, and then every time they do, I have to transfer it to a different account. So everyone has to be touched. And yeah, I don't know the result of that either, so I was just gonna have a timeline for both issues.
Okay. Anything else regarding software upgrades right now? All right. Letter F, grant updates.
I didn't provide the sheet, but there wasn't anything to update. I haven't heard back from Nick about the police.
That's why I had you put it on the agenda, for the ARPA funds for police.
For the body cam.
The body cam,
That's
grant.
part of the ARPA funds agenda item that is next on the agenda if we wanna just go into that, because it's all, they all blur together, I guess. So a couple of things, I know, this, as you know, we've added to the police force, and so now we have to look at vehicles because we don't have. So what I asked Nick to do on vehicles was to lay out what are the shifts, what are the vehicles, how do they work, how much are they running, not running, and all of that, which he did for me, which he hasn't come to police committee yet, but I wanted to get some finance time on this. So essentially, so we're gonna have a morning and afternoon shift, and then once everybody gets all trained up, we're gonna have a 3 to 3. So we're gonna get that dual coverage from 3 to 3 or 2 to 2 or whatever they decide is the best. I think right now they're targeting 3 to 3. So we've got a total of 5 cars. One's gonna be the school resource officer, so that in the summer will be added to the fleet, so we kind of have a summer time we could use it. And I think we're gonna fully outfit that. Are we not? I think we're gonna
Yes.
fully outfit that. Then we've got 2 regular patrol cars, and then we've got the old one with 102,000 miles Chief White takes, and he takes it home. And there's another Chevy SUV that Nick has, and he takes it home. And I guess I didn't realize they both took vehicles home, but I do know Nick gets called in a lot of things that he's, off hours, middle of the night, he follows up or helps people. So I don't know what's customary. I mean, is it customary for the police and the 2 kind of leaders of the force to have their own vehicles that they take home? I just don't know.
historically in the village, we haven't done that, but I don't know if that was the chief's choice,
Okay. Stockburger, you mean?
Right.
Yeah. So that, I guess that's something, I don't know if we wanna, maybe we wanna even talk about that committee, but as of now, so they, Jeff's got an old one. It doesn't have much life left to it at 102,000 miles anyway, honestly. So then Nick's got a younger one with 37,000 miles. There's 2 in the patrol fleet and then the school resource officer car, which will be in and out of the fleet as schools needed and not needed. It could do a night shift.
I'm sorry, just could we also rotate all 3 of them through? Because I thought the school resource officer was gonna have a total of 8 miles after
Yeah, I
6
think,
years.
I would think that would be the goal. That's why I want to make sure it was going to be fully outfitted, as long as I don't see why we shouldn't be able to. Because you're right, that one's going to be sitting in a parking lot a lot of the time, or going between the schools, but that's not going to be. Yeah. So to extend the life, you have another car, you get 1 car down and we have an issue. So it probably makes sense to do another one if we think them each having a car that they could take home is acceptable or not. And that's, I guess, something that we should talk about at police committee with those 2 and maybe at the board level. But, so there's, and we know we have ARPA money, we know we have a growing police staff that we've been wanting for a long time because of the need for dual coverage as things are changing.
Mhm.
The other thing is we're looking at a camera, the body cams, and that's required. And if you remember when we budgeted 160, which was the quote we got.
Mhm.
We were applying for a grant that we thought we were gonna get it, we said we'll spend the money if we get the money, and that's how we budgeted in, budgeted out, right? Well, we're not gonna get 160, we're not gonna get close to 160, the grants have changed and the prices have changed. So I think we're leaning towards going back to Motorola because the 160 went up to 220 or some ridiculous number, and we're not spending that kind of money. The Motorola's taken, quote is 91.5, but it's paid over 5 years, 5 years. But the grants are piecemeal, so like the first grant's gonna be the hardware, but not the software and storage, and then they say they're gonna do a subsequent one, but they want you committed to buy the stuff, so they kinda want you committed before, and when we budgeted for it, give us the money, we'll spend it. So it kind of puts a wrench in the whole, how we budgeted for this year. Obviously, we didn't commit that ARPA funds for anything, so we could, even if it's putting some of that ARPA funds in a sinking fund for these cameras, or, because we only, it looks like, I think what we think we're gonna get is enough for the first year's fee as far as grant money for year one. So I think we might get enough for what we have to pay this year. And then they put some, it might be at that ARPA, because it's a subscription service, so each year we're gonna be paying roughly 17 grand. I think it might go up if we buy another vehicle, because we'll have to outfit the vehicle, because we need another car camera, or, not body cam, but a car laptop, all that kind of stuff, so,
Equipment.
yeah. So we know we have to pay about 17 grand a year for this service, and it's, as things die or they get upgraded, that's what a subscription service is, and then 5 years, they give us another quote, tell us we're gonna pay every year for the next 5 years after that, so
So I did 91.5 divided by 5 is 18.3.
well, the first year we pay 24,364 upfront costs for hardware, accessories, implementation, plus a subscription fee, and then I've got 4 years to follow at 16.8. And that equals 91,564.
So, my was, so everything's included in it. So you said subscription, but that includes hardware, that's,
For 91 over 5-year total, it's broken down in that way, yeah. And again, the grant will pay for hardware, and then there's a second one that's supposed to come out that will pay for some of the storage. We're thinking, based on feedback Nick is getting, he thinks we'll get enough money to pay for year one, but again, that we're gonna have this to add to the budget, and I thought, you know what, maybe we put some of that in sinking funds, so we know we have to spend it the next 5 years.
Do you think we have to purchase all of it in order to get the grant? Because I talked to one of the grant representatives, just because she called me and she was asking questions. She said, have you already purchased it? And that was a question we had, and I don't know if Nick followed up, but whether or not we had to make the full purchase before we could get reimbursed.
Nick did there's been follow-up conversations, assuming that you're talking to the same people he was talking to. So Nick told us in police committee that, yeah, it's kind of all botched up, it sounds like, at the state level. So he said something about writing a letter that says this is our intention, and submit that, and maybe be able to be eligible for the grant with this.
Well, and if
Here's
we
a
have a
quote,
signed
here's-
agreement,
Yeah.
for the 91, then.
Especially since it's gonna take 3 months before they can deliver anything, with everybody's backlog. Let's see, he did send me
So
something as a follow-up.
I had a question back with the SRO car. So the school is sort of backfilling that cost for 1/3 of that car. Will they have an opinion about whether the car, it's that car or?
No.
because as long as they'll still have coverage, they'll still have a vehicle, so we're taking it. I can see the argument if one of ours goes down, so we pull it from them, and now they don't get one at all.
No,
So they're not gonna say, we're paying for a new car, we want the officer to have a new car.
No, we have to have a dedicated SRO car at any given time. It doesn't have to be the Chevy Tahoe or whatever the heck we have in our fleet, so, does Chevy make the Tahoe? I don't know, I don't care. But, no, they're not gonna, they wouldn't
Okay.
even notice probably, I wouldn't think, so no, I don't think there would be any concern with what vehicle it was. We just said we have to add to the fleet, so we're gonna ask you to bear that expense.
Can we just get one of those 4x4s for the SRO and?
That they might have objection to.
Well, we gotta get the 4x4 passed first. Whole nother-
Working on it, huh, Jason? So- So anyway, I know we don't have a home for those ARPA funds. I know we have needs. One's a requirement. The cameras are a requirement by January 1st, 2025. So we are gonna need funds for that. And the squad is something we have to discuss more in committee, but I guess I just wanted to bring it up here to make sure I don't know if others are coming to you saying, can I have that ARPA money? But there are needs that we could use it for.
There are others, like,
Can I ask how much of the ARPA you're looking for police? I mean, we never really talked about that in there, I don't think.
Well, a car is gonna be 75 grand, and that's right out of the gate, all equipped and everything, so that's 75 right there if we bought it this year. And then, we wouldn't really need anything for this year, but we need 60,000 for the sinking fund for cameras. So let's say at 70 and 60, 135.
Yeah. I might as well bring it up now, it's out. I would like to, as community development for parks. We have some and it wasn't ARPA money, but it was COVID money for redoing Memorial Park. We have that, but we don't have the splash pad money that we've talked about. And I would just really, I know other people are on board with giving back some of that COVID money for something like that. Now, we're having a subcommittee, like I said, for parks. And we can talk in there about what to do. I mean, even though Sally and Kelly have definitely gone beyond by getting what we have already for a plan over there. But that can all be talked about in there. We know roughly where we're at money-wise.
What's your shortfall?
Well, the splash pad, which I came from work, but Michelle Cunningham, that from the Park District, she did all this splash pad stuff and had a quote. Now, it's not new, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I want to say, they're expensive, 60 to, it would fall into that
So
money. You'd still get yours, but maybe we could.
And then we'd have our water costs, right? When we have to pay for.
Yes,
all the
this
water
must be
money?
talked about and figured out, I know.
Well, and that's why we need to have that strategic meeting that we've been discussing but I mean.
I just didn't I wanted to bring it up. I saw it on the agenda, the ARPA money, and.
It's
Oh, that's
good.
why you're here.
Well, a little bit.
Get out of the bag.
It's good that we have these discussions though, so when we sit down and go, well, we have all of this money, what do we want to do with it? Well, there's 7 different things that people have talked about. Let's see where we can put this money now. In lieu of, well, I don't know, let's just leave it in the bank for now, because we have no idea what we want to do with it.
And the
So-
other thing that we don't talk about enough in here is the whole debt that we have. I mean, I don't know how you feel, Sally. Are we positioned to pay off all this debt that we have tied to the water?
well, that's what the water rates are for.
So we don't have to worry about any of our excess reserves going to pay off that debt. The water fees and all that has to by law, or, pay that off, or, I mean.
We just have to make sure that we cover the debt with those rates.
I mean, it's something we don't, I think isn't that our job to look at that too? Because we don't bring in that spreadsheet, and I'm rusty again because it's been a while since we looked at it.
And
but-
rusty about it too. Plus we have, and that's something I've been wanting to work on, is that 5-year rate increase, the study
Yeah.
that was done, and how it affects everything.
Because I mean, everybody wants to get their hands on that money, but the reality is we have a bunch of debt sitting out there.
Sure.
That has to get paid, so yeah.
Well, and some of the grants we can't use for that, but some of it we can, and
What's ARPA's restrictions? I can't recall. Do you recall?
It is unrestricted,
Oh, okay.
because we offset it.
yes.
Okay.
But again, that was, again, same thing though, you go, hey, we need cameras, we want a new car, we want the splash pad, we want to pay off the debt. Okay, these are all the things, this is how much we have.
Agreed.
But, well,
No, the cow meeting or
Yes,
whatever you're
yes, yes,
referring to.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
so
I agree
now-
with you.
I thought you said greed. I
Oh, no.
we do want it all, that is true.
I agree.
How many parks does the village own?
4, which I did not know
And
until I
Greenlee
started.
hasn't been touched since the day it was put in, I know
Right.
that.
So
And there's this one, what else do we own?
The ball diamond, lighted ball
Lighted diamond,
diamond by
that's
Public
ours.
Works.
Mhm.
And strangely enough, along the Prairie Path out in, what is it?
It's Willingham.
Willingham, Faulkner,
Yeah,
along the Prairie Path, I think Sunil, when that went together, there is a park there. Now
there is?
it's also the retention pond of some of it. So I have not seen a map. I need to get with Chad or somebody and see how this thing is shaped. But it's nothing. All that's out there right now is a bench. So it's
Right, we have to
open though.
It
We have
hasn't
to
been,
maintain all of it.
Okay,
Yes, we should have like a park district in the village or something.
we do. And yes.
So why doesn't the park district get involved in these things? Why?
Well, we can talk about that, that's not in the agenda, we can talk about that, another time. I appreciate you bringing up the ARPA funds for the police. Is there anything else we want to discuss in that? All right,
No.
okay, let's move on to new business.
I've got something I want to ask. So, obviously, I should say obviously, it's my life and my world and not yours, but the financial, situation is getting pretty scary with banks right now. Do we have uninsured deposits with our local bank?
no.
They guarantee it with securities or something like that?
We get a fancy form every year saying that even though you're well above the FDIC limit, it's a fancy form, I remember seeing the email.
So they are, with FHLB deposits or treasuries they have in their portfolio, they are guaranteeing our deposits?
Yes.
And then the Illinois fund itself is as good as Illinois, right? All right, well, I was more worried about the, having insured deposits, so, because.
Yeah.
The confidence in the banking system is waning so quickly, stocks, including our own and associated, down so much, it's stoking fear, people are pulling deposits everywhere. It's frightening,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Excited when it goes back up.
that's it.
I'm just excited for when it goes back up.
Load up on bank stocks, Jerry, buy everyone you can get.
Quickly jump back up to the grants, I just forgot about this. I believe the geospatial grant was approved. I remember hearing about it, or talking about it at Public Works. We don't have to do anything with it. We didn't have to contribute anything, and it's just moving forward.
Yeah, originally we did have to contribute something, but they comped us. So,
All right.
Can I also ask, do Gills ever give us a surcharge on fuel?
no. I know, for many months at Public Works, every month we were like, maybe it'll be next month, and they just didn't do it, so they just reserved their right to do it.
Any other new business? I don't see a need for executive session. Moving on to number 8, which is the next meeting date.
Now that my trivia has changed, do we have to do Thursdays?
No, we do not have to do Thursdays. I'm going to miss the June board meeting, I'll be gone for Army. I could do, depends how quickly you want to do it after the board meeting. I can't do it before. This would be the one before anyway. I could do it the 14th, which is Wednesday of the board meeting week, or Monday through Thursday the following week, 19 through 22.
So,
What works best for you guys and you getting the paperwork ready?
after the board meeting is not a problem, so I can do any time after.
I can do any of those dates, so.
You wanna just do the 14th?
Sure. Wednesday, June 14th, I am free at any time. So.
When is the community development meeting? How does that fall?
Nobody uses
Those
it.
are usually
We ran
on
out of-
Wednesdays, right?
We ran out of months in this calendar, so I don't even know.
What are you asking?
When the June, community development meeting is. I thought they had like a regularly scheduled.
No, because Mike is juggled. He did give me when he can be on, but there's nothing scheduled in June yet.
Okay.
Do we want to try to schedule something? Like the first or the second or the third, whatever of every month to try to get a standard pattern
For what, I'm sorry?
for our meetings in general? Do we want to start with, the third Tuesday of every month after the first Sunday? Maybe like
Yeah, I
Easter
like to get on a regular schedule, that way it's a lot easier for me to schedule other stuff.
around it.
Are you talking about the Tuesday after the board meeting,
We're
or?
talking the Wednesday after the board meeting currently, so Wednesday, June 14th. But if we wanted to do a dedicated, let's do the Monday after the board meeting kind of thing. That actually
That's
works pretty
fine
well
with
for
me.
me. How's the Monday, that's the Monday after the board meeting.
So by doing the Monday after the board meeting, I just want it to be clear, there wouldn't be any new information. So what gets presented at the board meeting wouldn't be redone until the end of the month.
True.
So we wouldn't be able to, kind of back to what my first question was.
Yes.
We're presenting it to the board before it's coming to here.
So what about the
Or we
Monday,
always have the board 1 month behind.
or if we did the Monday before the board meeting.
That's what we did when I first started. The board was 1 month behind, so we would meet after the board meeting and approve everything, and so what is it now, May? So April stuff would be approved to us mid-May, and it would go into the June board meeting.
No, we've always done it this way.
Well, no, we also had our meetings the same day as the board meetings.
For
Oh,
many
yeah,
years.
yeah.
Yes, and so we just assumed that it was all gonna go well, and those were miserable because it was like a 5-hour meeting.
Well, it was like a day of meetings,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, because then there's air and water with it as well.
So I could get behind, trying to do the Monday or Tuesday before the board meeting, or sometime before the board meeting that week. Maybe the Wednesday, how does that pan out for you, Jeremy? That week's hard.
So if we get a date, I'll put them all in, and then as we, this one's good, hey, I can't do November, so in October, we'll reschedule it that way. But that was just something dedicated, so we won't plan something on that.
Well, wait, you're talking about the first Wednesday of the month?
Mm-hmm.
But then,
Not
I
necessarily,
don't have enough time if you're not gonna have enough time to get stuff for us to review for a meeting.
not necessarily
Right,
the first
you would get it
Wednesday.
for the first time at the meeting.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's just not enough time.
It wouldn't
I
necessarily be
have
the-
to look it over.
It wouldn't be the first Wednesday of the month, it would be the Wednesday prior to the board meeting. So for example, what month are we in? May? So June, it would be on June, well, in this case, it would be June 7th, this is the first first Wednesday. Yeah, I guess it would be the first, it's just not in August, when I happen to look at the calendar. That's it, we're gonna do all the village board meetings to the third Monday, and that way we can have ours on the second Monday.
That would be nice.
That actually would be nice, because for my purposes, it would give plenty of time.
That would be an easy,
Unless we wanna go back to having it right before the board meeting.
that was horrible.
I know, especially when the board meetings went till 10:30.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you're banging your head on the wall. Like, I don't care, I'll prove anything. Just go. And it doesn't, I don't think it's that big of a deal we'd have to make sure everyone could do it, but to, propose moving the board meetings to 6 PM on the third Mondays of every month. Just have to post it.
That would put everything pretty much the third week, because the committees, most of them meet that week as well.
At least
Right.
it's the 4th, the last week of the month.
Oh, last week? Oh,
I don't know about everybody else, but.
I gotta find where I am.
I guess that, maybe I have it wrong then.
So what I've been trying to do is, the month has to roll over so that I can do the financials. And then, like, we've discovered that we get an incredible amount of invoices on the 1st. Because it's the end of the month and
Mhm.
people do it on the 30th or the 31st, and then I get a lot by email. So I've been trying to wait, because it's hard, because it takes 2 solid days to get what I need to get done. I have a lot of entries to do and so on, and, everybody's mad. Kelly's mad, she wants it the 1st, and it's like, but I really can't do it before that unless I start, maybe I could make our financial month end on the 25th or something like that, and then eventually it would catch up,
So I was serious though, what if we did request to move the board meetings to the 3rd and then have ours on the, that way gives everybody plenty of time, then ours to be on the 2nd.
It'd make a lot of sense, I mean, just with the flow of the financials, the month, I mean,
I honestly think that would be a really good thing. Back when we used to, for 100 years, do it the first Monday after the first Tuesday, every year in July, or every other year or whatever, I would literally get just like one day because of the way that it just worked out. And then when there was a 4th of July festival and everything, it was just crazy.
Is that a vote thing?
I
Yes.
remember, yeah, because it went through and we voted for all the
The
dates in
1800s, yeah.
January for the year.
Okay, so we could send out a poll unless Kelly redid the agenda, because we already posted the agenda.
I haven't been able to talk to her about that issue that I asked you, you weren't in on that, but I asked Julie for a police thing, and I'm waiting till tomorrow to ask Kelly if it can be fixed.
Okay. Can you when is our admin meeting? The week after. Can you see? It's gonna be too late. I'll bring it up. We don't need to vote, but we can vote in June.
Do we wanna plan on June 7th unless we can change? No, if we did June 7th, that would be ideal, if we could change the board meeting too then, right? Is that the day we were talking about meeting?
June
again?
14th.
Oh, June 14th.
Mhm.
Well, the board meeting right now would be June 13th, right?
June 12th.
Or 12th, yeah.
And then, moving it to that 3rd week, everyone would have 2 weeks to look at the information. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I would still do it in the same timing
Mm-hmm.
because it's for the previous month, but
Okay, so we're solving world's problems, and I love it. I'll bring it up at the meeting. But for June specifically, do we want June 14th or the 19th through the 22nd?
14th is fine.
All right, June 14th at 5:30.
well, hopefully I'll have some better information about some of these other things, and maybe it won't seem like a dud, meeting. It is Flag Day that day,
Oh,
so
there you go.
wear your colors, people.
Items of the board agenda, besides bringing this up unofficially, I don't think we have any more items, is that correct? In that case,
Yeah, because I think we're gonna talk about the grants during cow meeting. that we
Yes.
schedule, right?
yes. Okay, that's a kind of a standing, we need to have a, planning meeting, like a standing statement that we, can I, have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I will second. All in favor, Julie?
Aye.
Jeremy says yes as well. It is 6:16, and that is it.